It's really cool to be here because I love hardware, and I don't do very hardware very much because I'm also a business person, and hardware pretty much sucks as a business model. It's not impossible. It's hard because software you just like click on it, and you can try it out for free if you don't like it. Get it. Hardware, order it, a thing has to come to you. Somebody had to pay for that thing. You ship the thing around. It's nasty. So it's like a dozen people here. Why are you guys in this program? Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you working with hardware? Yeah.
Well,
Yellow?
No, it's a really good opportunity to build your own thing, and even though you have to pay for it, all the hard work of ordering stuff, and you get is done by the staff.
That's
and
nice. Parts genie.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And you get a lot of help from the staff too, so you don't pull stuff up.
But I mean, why are you going in the direction of doing hardware in the first place? Why not do software or biology or I don't know, customer service or whatever?
Making physical things is more satisfying.
Nice. Yeah. I feel that too. I'm so hungry to build a thing now. I can practically die. So one of the things I did, I don't know if you guys have stalked me at all. If you're just sort of your parts genie is just bringing in entertainment also randomly. Or executive director or whatever you call yourself. But I founded, so I've been involved in hardware forever. I got interested in it as a kid, ever since I was in grade school, and just built random stuff for fun, which I think is kind of what you're doing. Except that mostly I had to describe my parts because I grew up really poor and take apart TVs and radios and whatever. And then at a certain point, while I was in high school, a science museum hired me to be their electronic person, so that anything that electronic in an exhibit I would do, which was a really fun job because there's lots of different exhibits, and it's kind of annoying because sometimes they break and I have to fix them, but at least you get to debug it, and nothing's the same every day, so that was fun. I got to design new exhibits and basically be their whole electronics department. It was kind of I don't know, it was too easy in some ways, but it was really fun. And then, I don't know, skipping over a lot of steps, I finally decided to go to college after doing that for a while because it's too unstructured for me. It was nice because I could teach myself to learn whatever I wanted. And back then, electronics paid a lot, so if I ran out of money in a given year, I could just contract for a couple weeks for some company and then live off it for another year. But that kind of got old after 5 or 6 years, and so I went up to Harvard and MIT and other places and did stuff. But after I got sick of academia, hopefully this won't happen to you, I came out to Silicon Valley and started a company. And first one I did, first I went down to LA because there's a woman I was in love with down there, and formed a company all about designing analog electronics for companies in the sort of industrial manufacturing space that were building hard drives and stuff like that. And analog electronics design that was really hard and esoteric and whatever. So I built a little company here that was basically me designing stuff and a bunch of people helping me, 7 or 8 people building stuff and prototyping it and ordering parts and calling up customers and making them pay and stuff like that. So then after that, there was a conclusion that I should be probably collaborating more and working in groups of people, and you can be a lot just me as a solo designer got really boring and kind of lonely. And so then I formed a company with my friend Jory in 2000, and we created this company called OQO, and our goal was to make the world's smallest PC. And at that point, pretty much, small laptops were the smallest PC, laptops. And so we prototype. Basically, he was like more of the business side, I was more of the technical side, but he was also like a product designer, so physical engineering side of things, and also industrial design, thinking about aesthetics and user experience and so on. And I just took apart lots of laptops and figured out like what's the stuff you need, what's the stuff you don't need, and pretty much came down to you can use a smaller display. When you use a smaller display, you can use a smaller battery, and use the smaller battery, the whole thing gets smaller. And then you have these big, ugly power electronics. But I know how to design power electronics, so I just made them smaller by taking power electronics out of cell phones, putting it in this thing, and filed some pretty good patents on that. And the whole thing crunched down to about that big. And it indeed became the world's smallest laptop. We got in the Guinness Book of World Records, and we got investors to go, whoa, really? Let me try it. Oh, wow, it's actually Windows Vista or whatever. Seriously? And so here's millions of dollars. And so we built this company up to about 110 people. It was right over there in the Mission District of San Francisco, like 20 for Shotwell. And we got a whole city block, and we got like $85 million total of investment. And it kind of blew up and became totally crazy. So I have a ton of experience doing hardware and building companies. After that, when that ended around 2009, I got much more interested in biotech and biology and trying to fix other bugs, specifically bugs in this hardware rather than that hardware. So that's my current obsession. There's a lot of bugs and stuff, and they really matter to me. But anyway, I would love to help you in the brief timeline here think about why you're doing this, what you want to achieve by being involved in hardware, where you think that's going. In a lot of ways, a lot of the signals are saying, do other things, don't do hardware anymore. Like, the HP was born in a garage, and Apple was born in someone's living room or whatever. All this stuff was happening in the 80s. Or late 70s, early 80s, whatever. And a lot of people think, well, the new Apples and HPs and so on are being born in people's garages now, and it's in biotech. And the places where people seem to be raking in giant barrel loads of money, at least just from an entrepreneurial perspective, is in software. So going into hardware is kind of crazy. But like you're saying, it's really satisfying to build stuff, and ultimately people keep needing stuff. Like you just can't do everything. Like the whole world doesn't revolve around soccer. People like eat, like get their job when they drive if they want to have a job. So like, I don't know. One way I divide it up is like, do any of you think that you'd like to encapsulate your life's work under the perspective of entrepreneurship? Which of you would like to do stuff in the context of like a corporation, some existing corporation, and be an employee? And which of you would like to go off and be solely like academics? And which of you would like to be homeless? Like poor and homeless and like just kind of struggling and occasionally writing poetry but getting stolen by the crack addict who's sitting next to you under the same bridge and stuff like that. So which of you are in the I want to create my own company and be an entrepreneur? Third, roughly. Okay. Which of you want to work for big companies or work for successful companies and be engineers? So it's like a quarter. Wow, I see you going down the Pareto curve. Which of you want to be academics and like professors and stuff like that? None? Wow. Okay. So there's an exclusion. Oh, what about like just being sort of like homeless and wait, were you also an entrepreneur and homeless? Actually, those aren't mutually exclusive. Okay, what about all the rest of you? What did I miss? Oh, like stay, like not really have a career, stay home and take care of your kids while your wife or gay husband brings home the money. But we're living in a new age now, right? What did I miss? Because only like 9 people answered.
I just don't know.
That's, I forgot about that one, yeah, okay. Any others? You didn't raise their hand, but didn't fall into one of my categories? Yeah, okay. So, I don't know, what do you need? How can I help you?
Anyone got questions?
Yeah.
How is it to convince people that your idea wasn't crazy? That they should be money instead?
Well, mostly, how I convinced people my idea wasn't crazy was building a prototype.
Okay.
First thing we built was a prototype that proved it could be small, but that we were sure that based on the whimsical nature of its design, that nobody would try to make us take this particular product to market. So we made like a sort of triangular shaped device that was really small, maybe like that, that was a full PC. Didn't have a display in it because we hadn't convinced any of the display makers yet that they should pay attention to us, because normally they deal with like Dell, HP, Sharp, Sony, and sell millions to each customer, and they have no facility to talk to small people. And so we made that, and yet still, and so investors look at it and went, whoa, it's really working. You actually made a PC, it was small. So that got them over their fear of this isn't, you're not just like talking at your app, but you can do stuff, you can make it work. And then one of them actually said that we should try to sell this a product anyway. It's kind of like a presenter computer, like you have this triangular speakerphone in the middle of a lot of desks, and then you put this next to it, and you can run your PowerPoint software or whatever. Anyway, we ignored them. But that's a good question. So that's just basically build a prototype is what you do. It's going.
I was thinking about making something where it was like combine a middle where you can place your cutter, and then you could like swap out stuff really easily. Accessible. That sort of thing.
Yeah, so I would say even more important than convincing people that you're not crazy is to be working on something that's worthwhile. And that the main thing to me is that it has a market, or that it has a really good product market fit. Because most things that you talk about in the hardware space, people can pretty much get, yeah, I can do that, or no, I can't do that. And it's in a different category if you're talking about, yeah, I'm going to build this device that's this big, and when you breathe it, I'll tell you whether you have cancer or not. Like, that's hardware. But it's got some magic in it, where people are like, I'm not really sure that's possible. Can you really do that? That's when you have to prove to them for sure that you're not crazy, and there is an actual magic in it. That's just like the systems integration problem. It's like, yeah, you can imagine all of it happening. Sure, you can swap out some head, and then you can have a rotary tool instead of a plastic oozing tool or whatever. And so what you'd want to convince them is that people would care to have it, or that the kinds of economies of scale, you'd say, yeah, this is 90% all replicated between these three objects. The last 10% is the difference between it being a mill and a 3D printer and a scanner and a baby feeder or whatever. And that, but even more importantly, that people would care about that. Like, maybe this totally separate groups who care about wanting a mill versus wanting a 3D printer. I don't know. Or you show them. They are the same people, and they will be spending this amount of money for that and this amount of money for this other one, and if you can combine them, you can get 50% more money and save them 50% and wipe out your competition, that kind of stuff. Market and product market fit are the most important things for considering, I think, which thing to work on, unless you're doing it in the academic category, where this has never been done before. It's really going to be cool, and I don't care if anybody buys or not. I want to have an awesome blog entry, or I want to be kind of famous and get me to the next stage of where I want to go in my life. Because, this guy I knew as part of a QO from MIT named Bunny Huang. He hacked the Xbox when it first came out. And he was the first one who kind of cracked it open and said, hey, you can run whatever software you want on this thing. And they're pretty cheap, and they're cheap because they're subsidized because they want to buy software, so you can buy these cheap boxes, and he did it with by a really elegant method that nobody'd done before, by like soldering this, like cleaning, sanding off some of the traces on the PC board where a bus was passing along, and soldering on a connector right over them, and putting on this special code that could read like, I don't know, I can't remember what bus it was. It was some like compact PCI kind of high-speed PCI bus protocol, and programmed design FPGA so that it would read that protocol and read the traffic going over the bus between the memory and the processor, where it was saving its passwords or something. So they cracked it open, and that is not a project that will make you money. Like you can't sell like an Xbox cracker, because once it's done, whatever, and it's just, there's a market of probably 3 people who would buy them. And you can't sell passwords because it's illegal, but all that project did was get him famous at that time in such a way that then like 50 hardware companies wanted to hire him because they realized, whoa, this guy can do magic things that no one else can do. That's another reason to work on something even if it doesn't have a market. But don't do the thing where you're just building something that there isn't a market for and has already been done before 100 times. And if you put it on your blog, people would be like, oh, your mom would be like, wow, that's really amazing. How could anybody possibly do that? But lots of other people in the hardware space would be like, yeah, whatever. I built something like that before. Like, don't spend too much time doing that. If it's basically a class to you, like, yeah, I want to build a triangular robot because I never put stuff like this together before. You can learn a ton doing it. Cool, do it, but don't like put like a year of your life into it. Like, if you're going to do that, stop. Go back and think, what can I do that nobody's ever done before that would be really cool? Or what can I do that there's a customer market for that people would buy? Any other questions? Just before I get dragged too much, but we can talk during lunch if you'd like.
So do you work for a new company now, or?
So right now I'm kind of running this nonprofit, the goal of which is to increase funding overall, especially from the federal government and also private sectors if possible, into trying to understand what goes wrong with our biology and why we all die when we're 80 or so. A small number of people seem to live to 110 for some reason. And why? Why them? What's different about them? That looks like mostly genetic. And so what can you do to the rest of us that would simulate the functions of those genes so that we live longer? Because I'm having a good time, obviously, and I just think it would be cool to live longer. And also I think it's really sad when amazing people who are parts of our families and friends who die, just when they're starting to build up amazing knowledge in their heads, they get to be 60 or 70 or whatever, and actually starting to figure stuff out. Don't feel bad. You're young. It takes a long time to figure stuff out. And then like, oh, sorry, cancer, oh, stroke, Alzheimer's, whatever. I don't know. That just pisses me off. But I do have a really strong itch to build stuff in general, and I may be starting a company in the near future involving hardware and biotech. So that's a pretty cool area for hardware. If maybe you have already been evangelized by your bioengineer leader, but thinking about technology and electronics and engineering and machines and stuff that relate to either fixing human bodies, diagnosing human bodies, assisting in the research of things that make people work. Like there's a multi-gazillion-dollar industry in making machines that analyze, read DNA sequences, that differentiate tiny molecular weights of one atom from another. There's a crazy variety and lots of really intense technical challenges involved in doing the electronic and machine biotech and support for the biotech world. And that seems to be a world that's on the verge of massively expanding because we're finally sort of starting to figure out biology because the genome's been sequenced and now the epigenome is becoming sequenced and the proteomics is taking off and RNA expression is starting to be understood and like it's finally like, oh, we finally have our oscilloscope for the first time for the human body, which means people are going to be building shit like crazy. And for not just human body, but just biology in general. So now's a really good time to get involved in it, I think. And hardware is a cool way in.